Hello, my name is Mark John Sternal, and you're watching Easy Acoustic Guitar DVD. This is a remake of the best-selling Guitar DVD #1, Beginner Basics and Beyond. This remake is made exclusively for the acoustic guitar. Throughout this video, you'll learn all you need to know to survive in the world of acoustic guitar. By the most simplified definition, a guitar is made of 6 strings and several frets. The strings are numbered 1 through 6, starting with the thinnest string being number 1, through the thickest string being number 6. There is also a nut. The nut is sometimes referred to as the 0 fret or open. Frets are the bars that run across the fretboard horizontal to the strings. The frets are also numbered, starting with the nut being 0 or open. Most guitars have more than 20 frets. Guitars have bodies. They also have necks. Acoustic guitars have the same parts as electric guitars, such as the body, neck, and frets. Acoustic guitars have sound holes which produce pitch when the strings are played. When properly tuned, notes on both acoustic guitars and electric guitars are played the same way. Some acoustic guitars have electronics installed which allow you the option of playing through an amplifier. Using a guitar cable, plug one end into the input jack of your guitar and plug the other end into the input jack of your amp. Here we are using an Epiphone Studio Acoustic 15C, which features 2 input channels. Channel 1 is reserved for a microphone, allowing you to sing and play guitar at the same time. Channel 2 is for your guitar. We are starting out with all of the controls set straight up to 5 o'clock. The first control is volume, which you can adjust to your liking. The equalizer allows you to adjust the tone of your amplifier. The Epiphone Acoustic Studio 15C features 3 controls for bass for the low range frequencies, middle frequency control, and treble or high frequencies. If you set these straight up, you are running the amp flat, which means you are not giving or taking from the guitar tone. A common full-bodied EQ setting would be bass to 6, middle set to 4, and treble set to 7. The chorus control allows you to mimic the sound of multiple guitars. Turn the effect on and adjust the speed to increase or decrease the effect. To capture the sound of this amplifier, we are using a professional guitar amp microphone by Sennheiser, model E906. If you are performing in a club or recording in a studio, you would use a microphone like this to send the guitar signal to a larger mixing board where the sound might be amplified to fill a large room or auditorium. Some acoustic electric guitars, like the Epiphone PR4E, have built-in volume and tone controls. These controls come in handy when you are performing live. For example, you may experience feedback from an amplifier if one of the treble, middle, or bass frequencies is set too high. When feedback occurs, adjust the EQ controls to eliminate the unwanted hum. A pure acoustic guitar does not have any onboard electronics. meaning the only sound projected is through the sound hole of the instrument. To amplify or record an all-acoustic instrument, you will need a condenser instrument microphone. For this DVD, when we are playing an all-acoustic guitar, we will be using a Sennheiser E914 model aimed directly at the sound hole. The bridge of the guitar is opposite the nut. If you play a note, in this case I'll play the first string, the string will vibrate, causing sound between the bridge and the nut. When you hold a fret, you are shortening the length of the string, and the sound now vibrates between the bridge and the fret you are holding. As you move your finger up the neck, the length of the vibrating string becomes shorter, causing the pitch to increase to higher notes. The easiest way to keep your guitar in tune is to use an electric tuner. The tuner that I am using in this video is an Epiphone guitar and bass tuner. It has a microphone that picks up the pitch of acoustic instruments, or a plug for electric instruments. To tune your instrument, pick an open string. If the display lights up to the left of center, that means your string is too loose and you need to tighten the tuning peg. If the display lights up to the right, it means your string is too tight and you need to loosen the peg until the meter lines up in the center. And you're in tune. This tuner even features a 7th string option for 7-string guitars, and also features a bass guitar option with the bottom set of controls. Playing in tune is very important for beginner guitarists. You want to develop a sense of pitch as soon as possible. So if you don't already have an electric tuner, I highly recommend that you get one. Some acoustic electric guitars, like this Epiphone EJ200, have a built-in tuner. Just engage the tuner, then pick a string and use the built-in tuner the same way you would use an electric tuner. In case you don't have a tuner, tune to my guitar. Here is the first string, E, the second string, B, third string is G, fourth string, D, fifth string, A, and the sixth string, the low E. You can also learn to tune a guitar by ear. For example, if your 6th string is in tune, you can use the 5th fret to tune the 5th string open. Play the 6th string 5th fret, then play the 5th string open, compare the two notes, and adjust the pitch of the 5th string to match that of the 6th string 5th fret by tightening or loosening the tuning peg. You can apply this to the 5th string 5th fret to tune the 4th string. When the 4th string is in tune, you could use the 4th string 5th fret to tune the 3rd string open. On the 3rd string, hold the 4th fret to tune the 2nd string open. And when your 2nd string is in tune, play the 2nd string 5th fret to tune the 1st string open. When sitting, you can rest your guitar on your lap. While certain styles of guitar music prefer one leg to the other, in popular culture it has become acceptable to use either one. If you put your guitar on the same side as your picking hand, you'll be able to reach the open position easier. If you move it to the same side as your playing hand, this will put the guitar in a comfortable position for you to reach the higher frets. but playing the open position becomes more of a stretch. Experiment with both and do what is more comfortable for you. You can also learn to play standing up by using a guitar strap to hold your guitar at your desired length. The bottom bout or body of your acoustic guitar will have a strap peg installed. Some acoustic guitars have a second strap peg installed where the neck meets the body. If your guitar does not have a second strap peg, you can have one installed at your local music store, or you can use a string to tie one end of the strap to the headstock of your guitar. I recommend that you adjust the strap so the guitar is near the same position, sitting or standing. You may find that picking becomes difficult if your strap is too long or too short. To correct this, adjust the length of the strap to your liking. Music is made on the guitar by simply picking a string. You could pick a string open without touching any frets or strings, or you could place one of your fingers directly behind a fret and pick that string. If the fretted note is dull or muted, check for these problems. Is your finger directly above the fret wire? If so, move it back directly behind the fret, apply pressure, and pick the string. Is your finger too far away from the fret wire? This requires a lot of unnecessary pressure. To correct this, slide your finger closer to the fret so it's directly behind it, apply pressure, and pick the string. That's all there is to it. If you can play this note, consider yourself a brand new guitarist. Here's your first finger placement exercise. Place your first or index finger directly behind the first fret and pick the first string. Place your second or middle finger in the second fret position and pick. Use your third or ring finger to play the third fret, then the fourth or pinky finger to play the fourth fret. For this whole exercise, my thumb is placed behind the middle finger or second fret in the center or back of the neck. If you have smaller hands, you can move them up the fingerboard where the frets are closer together. On the first string, move your index finger up to the 9th fret. Then play the same finger placement exercise. Forward, backward, and even on other strings. This video uses chord charts, traditional music notation, and tablature, also known as tab. This is a note chart. Each vertical line represents a guitar string. Each horizontal line represents a fret. Dots are placed on the note chart to show you which strings and frets to hold in order to play scales or chords. In some cases, like this example, hollow dots represent an open string. This note chart shows 3 dots on the first string. The dots represent the notes to play on the fretboard. To play the notes below, simply pick the first string open, then the first fret, then the 3rd fret. You can also play it descending by picking the first string 3rd fret, then 1st fret, then open. Here we are using more than one string. To play the notes on this chart, pick the 2nd string open, 1st fret, 3rd fret, then switch to the 1st string open, then the 1st fret, then the 3rd fret. You can also play this descending by starting with the first string 3rd fret, then 1st fret, and open. Then play the 2nd string notes, 3rd, 1st, then open. When notes are intended to be played on higher frets, the fret number is listed to the left or right of the chart. The previous exercise did not use fret numbers because the notes were near the open position or within range of the nut. In this exercise, the number 7 tells us that the lowest fret we use is the 7th fret. To play this section, start with the first string 7th fret, followed by the 8th fret, then the 10th fret. Or to play it descending, start with the first string 10th, then 8th, then 7th fret. This is a chord chart. It looks identical to a note chart, however it is played differently. Notice there is only one note on each string, where on the note charts there were 3 notes. Chord charts show you groups of notes that can be played or strummed together. Dots are placed on the chord chart to show you which strings and frets to hold to play a chord. Sometimes numbers are placed under the chord chart to show you which fingers to use for each note. This chord chart shows 3 X's and 3 O's. The X's mean you do not play the strings they line up with. The O's represent open notes for the string they line up with. To play the chord below, simply strum or pick strings 3, 2, and 1 so that they ring out at the same time. This next chart adds a fretted note. The new note would be held using your first finger on the 3rd string behind the 1st fret. To play the chord, strum or pick strings 3, 2, and 1 so they ring out at the same time. Here we are using all strings. The 6th or lowest string is open. The 5th string note is held down with your 2nd finger. 4th string note is held down with your 3rd finger. The 3rd string note is held down with your 1st finger. The 2nd and 1st strings are open. Strum or pick all 6 strings so they ring out at the same time. It is often necessary to hold down 2 or more strings with 1 finger. This technique is called barring. Chords using this technique are called bar chords. If you are having trouble with this chord, move on for now. In a few short sections, your fingers will be strong enough to play all of these chords. Just like the numbered frets for note charts, when chords are intended to be played on higher frets, the fret number is listed next to the chord chart. The previous exercise did not use fret numbers because the chords were all in the open position or within range of the nut. This exercise has us playing a bar chord on the 5th fret of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. Strings 4, 5, and 6 are silent. Tab is the easiest way to learn to read guitar music. The top line always represents the 1st string of your guitar. The 2nd line represents the 2nd string and on through the 6th string. And numbers represent the frets that you play. So if a number 1 is written on the top line of the tab staff, you would play the 1st fret on the 1st string. If a 1 is written followed by a 2, you would play the 1st fret on the 1st string, followed by the 2nd fret on the 1st string. You can also play 2 or more notes together. On the tab, we see the 1st string is open, and the 2nd string calls for the 1st fret. Place your index finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and position it so the bottom of your finger is not touching the 1st string. Then pick both the 2nd and 1st strings together. You'll be able to use this video even if you do not learn to read traditional notation. However, we have included an introduction in this section. Music is traditionally written on a staff. A staff consists of 5 lines and 4 spaces which represent the different notes of the musical scale. The notes represented on the staff come from our musical alphabet. They are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. After the G note, the alphabet starts over with A. This also works in reverse if you are playing or writing the notes backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, and so on. Guitar music is written on the treble clef. Whenever you see this symbol, the music can be played on a guitar. The notes of the treble clef start with E on the very bottom line. The space above E represents an F note. The line above F represents a G. Notes can extend above and below the staff by the use of ledger lines. There are also different versions of most notes called accidentals. Accidentals consist of sharps or flats. To make a note sharp is to raise it 1 fret on the guitar. To make a note flat is to lower it 1 fret on the guitar. One way of writing sharps or flats on the staff is to place the symbol before the note you want to change. Another way of writing sharps or flats is to use a key signature. Simply put, a key signature is a group of sharps or flats at the very beginning of a staff line. The sharp or flat note in the key signature indicates that all notes of the same name will be altered throughout the piece of music. If the key signature has a sharp symbol on an F, you are to play F sharp in place of F for the remainder of the piece of music unless otherwise indicated by another accidental symbol. When a sharp or flat note needs to be changed back to its original non-accidental state, a natural symbol is used. Most guitar music uses both tablature and staff notation, which allows you to choose which method of reading you would like to use. Some guitar music uses all 3 methods. In this example, you can choose between the note chart, standard notation, and tab. All 3 methods indicate the same chord. Bar lines are the vertical lines that divide tablature and staff music into sections. The measure is the space between bar lines. Music is the combination of time and sound.